Hi students, welcome to this main lesson 9. This will be the last lesson under main lesson. Of course, I have been uploading the supplementary lesson where I am solving the problems given in exercise. So as I already made it very clear, during the main lesson we are discussing the concepts so that it is easy for us to follow the chapter. Then we will be separately doing supplementary lessons where we are solving all the questions. Now in the last class I started the concept binary operation. Binary operation, and we have seen the definition of binary operation. So the definition is this: it is a function. First of all, binary operation is a function from a set A cross A. That means we take a set A, then cross product. One element from this one, another element from this one, and then if this function whose codomain is A only, then it is called binary operation, and I have given sufficient number of examples to show when it is a binary operation, when it is not a binary operation. Of course, so for every A, B belonging to A. So this is the definition actually. A. So that means A star B. This belongs to A. After the operation, this should belong to A. Let me make one example. Take one example. Say a star is a binary operation in N. Even we can write like this. This means star is a binary operation in the set N. That is a set of naturals defined by, let us say, A star B equal to, say, AB plus A plus B. Suppose this is the binary operation. Is it a binary operation? This is operation, for example. First of all, is it a binary operation? If you ask me, then I have to say whether it is binary operation or not based on this definition. So now, whatever may be A and B, that is which is a natural number, that means A and B are two natural numbers. Product of AB is a natural number, A is a natural number, B is a natural number. Sum of three natural numbers will be one more natural number only. Definitely this belongs to N. So it is a binary. So this is the way we can test whether a given operation is binary or not. So I made it very clear. Whenever the resulting element is in the same set, it is binary, otherwise it is not. So this much we studied. Now today in this lesson, let us study, there are a few types of binary operation or properties of binary operation. So that we shall study. So totally there are four. One is commutative property of binary operation. That means some binary operations are commutative. Similarly, associative property of binary operation. Then existence of identity, existence of inverse. So these are the four major concepts. With this chapter will be over. So let us take first commutative binary operation. So what is the meaning of commutative binary operation? Commutative law we have studied in addition, multiplication, etc., in case of set of reals, etc. So let the commutative binary operation means like this: a binary operation star on a set A is commutative, commutative, commutative if A star B equal to B star A for every A, B belonging to A. So this is the definition, commutative. For example, let me take plus, that is addition, in the case of natural number n. If I write like this, we have to understand addition is the operation, given set is n. So this is commutative because A star B here means, because star itself is addition, so this is A plus B, but this is same as B plus A, so this is commutative binary operation. Let me give another general example. Say star in R defined by, let us say A star B equal to AB plus 1. AB plus 1. Is it commutative binary operation? First of all, it is a binary operation. You can check that also. Set of reals, product of two real number is a real number, plus 1 is also a real number. So it is binary, no doubt. Now I have to check whether it is commutative. It is commutative because, you see, this we can write now. AB plus 1 can be written as BA plus 1 also, because real numbers are commutative with respect to multiplication. AB is same as BA. When it is AB plus 1, it is A star B. When it is BA plus 1, it should be B star A. So B star A. So definitely it is binary. So I can keep on giving examples. I have to give where it is not binary also, otherwise problem will be incomplete. Let me take a binary operation here with a set of natural numbers defined by A star B equal to, let us say, A to the power B. Definitely it is a binary operation. You can see A is a natural number, B is a natural number, and power of this one, so this will be always a natural number. So this is definitely natural. But now A star B is A power B, but B star A, if you take, it is B power A. Definitely A power B and B power A cannot be same. Therefore, this is not, so A star B is not same as B star A. So like this, given any operation, we can check whether it is commutative or not. It is very simple concept. So here it is sufficient. In a supplementary lesson, we shall take more and more examples. The next concept is associative binary operation. So that is the second property. Associative binary operation. What do you mean by associative? A binary operation star on A is associative. If A star B star C equal to A star B star C. That means, given three elements A, B, C, first you take A star B, with that you take C, or first you take B and C, then with that you take A, both should be same. If that is the case, so here of course, for every A, B, C belonging to A. So this is the definition of associative binary operation. Now let us check, let us give a few examples for this. Let us say, for example, plus in n. So is it associative? So you yourself can check it. Say A plus B plus C. Definitely it is equal to A plus B plus C, because addition is associative in case of natural number. It is also associative in case of real numbers also. So therefore it is associative, definitely. Suppose I take an operation star in n defined by A star B equal to, let me see, AB plus 1. For the previous example also I have taken this one, A star B equal to AB plus 1, whether it is associative. So what I have to do is, first I have to take the left hand side, A star B, then star C. I have to simplify. Then we have to see this also, they are equal, definitely associative. So let me do that one. Now A star B star C, let us consider. Now A star B is, it is AB plus 1, then star C. See, whenever you are having this type of expression, sometimes it is difficult for us to apply directly this one. So what you do is, you take this as, say, M. So that this will be M star C. M star C. But now A star B is AB plus C, therefore AB plus 1. So M star C is MC plus 1. Now you substitute. M is actually AB plus 1. So AB plus 1 into C plus 1. So definitely its simplification is ABC plus C plus 1. So this is A star B, then star C. Now let us take the second one, this one, A star, then B star C. Same way we shall simplify. This is A star. Here we have to put a bracket. B star C is BC plus 1. So let us take this as N. So it is easy to simplify. So this is A star N. Now A star N is AN plus C. So AN plus 1. AN plus 1. So this is now this equal to A into N is BC plus 1. BC plus 1 plus 1. So when you simplify you get ABC plus A plus 1. Now look here. Here we are getting ABC, they are equal, no problem. But here we get C, whereas here we get A. So left hand side and right hand side cannot be same. Therefore, this is not associative. Therefore, definitely we can say this is not associative. This is associative. Similarly, we can give any number of examples. It is not difficult actually. What you have to do is just take A star, B star, C, simplify. Take A star, then B star, C, simplify. See whether they are equal. If they are equal, associative. Otherwise, it is not associative. I think this is sufficient for associative. The next concept is identity element of a binary operation. This you should be careful. Identity element. So the third one is identity of a binary operation. So the definition, before giving definition, let me make the idea clear. You take for example Z. Z means set of integers. Let us take plus addition. Now you know that you take any element x belonging to Z plus under the operation addition. If you take 0, you get x only. If you take 0, you get x only. Let me take one more example. Let us take n under the operation, binary operation, multiplication. Suppose you take say a into 1, this will give you a only. A only. Let me give one more example. Q, set of rationals, and let me define star by a star b equal to ab by 3. A star equal to ab by 3. Now suppose I take any element a with 3, because 3 is here. So this will be according to definition a into 3 divided by 3. This will give you a only. Now you have to observe carefully, because you have to catch hold of the concept of identity first. 0 is an element which is here. When you are operating 0 with any other element, you are getting the same element x. Listen carefully. A is an element in n and 1 is also in n such that a into 1. So you are getting the same element a. Here also, whenever you are operating any element a with 3, this 3 is here, you are getting the same element a. So if this is the case, this particular element is called the identity element. So what is the meaning of identity element? It is, there is one element. If it may exist, it may not exist, that is different. If it exists such that you take any element and do the operation, perform the binary operation. Afterwards, what you should get is, you should get the same element. If that is the case, this particular element is called the identity element. Identity element. I can generalize this now. So A star is the binary operation, and if you put this identity element here, what you should get is A only. So this element is denoted by E. So identity element is E. So that is the meaning of identity. Now let me define. So the definition is this: let star be a binary operation in a set E. Then if there exists an element E belonging to A, means in the same set, such that A star E must be equal to E star A. It should be commutative also, only for this one. So this must be equal to A. Then this E is called, E is called identity element. So this is the definition, identity element. As I made it very clear, see, sometimes what happens is the given operation may not be commutative. It may be or it may not be. But whenever identity element exists, it should be commutative also. A star E must be equal to E star A must be equal to A. So please remember this concept. That means you are operating any element with E, you are getting the same element. So example is, I have already given the example. In Z for addition, 0 is the identity element, because you take any x belonging to Z, x plus 0, that will give you x only. So A star E equal to A, x plus 0 is x. So this is the thing. Let me take one example where let me find an identity element if it exists. So this is the example. Let star be a binary operation in Q defined by A star B equal to AB by 5, AB belonging to Q, find identity element if exist. So this is, so always there will be a question if exist, because we don't know, sometimes identity exists, sometimes identity does not exist. I will show you where it does not exist. Now here you see, what I assume is let E be the identity. So what should happen according to the definition? Then this implies A star E must be equal to A. So I made it very clear. Identity element, when it is operated with any other element, it will give you the same element A. Now apply the definition. What is A star E? A star E is, that is A into E divided by 5, this equal to A. So A is a rational number. So A you can cancel. So E must be equal to 5. So E equal to 5 is the identity element. So you can check now whether it is correct or not. For example, let me take, say, x equal to, say, I will take 7. Now 7 star 5, what I should get? If it is identity, I should get 7 only. Then only it is identity. This becomes identity. A star E must be A. So 7 star 5 must be 7. If that is the case, then 5 is the identity. Now you can check. What is 7 star 5 according to this definition? It is 7 into 5 divided by 5, 7. So 5 cancels, 7 equal to 7. So correct. So this is the meaning of identity. Now let me show you one example where identity does not exist. Say for example, let us take plus under natural number, addition under natural number. Remember, addition is a binary operation in case of natural number. But now, suppose you take x. Suppose E is the identity. What should happen is, it should be x by definition. Now, cancelling you get E equal to 0. But 0 is not in n. Therefore, remember, identity may not exist in some cases, sometimes it exists. So this is the third concept under or property under binary operation. And the last one is inverse. Inverse of an element. So here also let me first give you the idea, then we shall define. Say for example, let me take plus only under z, that is the given set is set of integers, addition is the binary operation. And we know already x if you take and there exists 0 such that x plus 0 equal to x, and we call this as identity. This as identity. This we know. Now, inverse means actually x you take, any element x you take, perform the operation with this element. Let us say some element here. What you should get is, you should get the corresponding identity element here. That means you take two elements such that when you operate them, you should get the identity element of this set. Then this is called inverse. So here x plus, we know very well, for in case of the integers, x plus minus x, this will be 0. So this minus x is called the inverse of x. This is the thing. Let me give one more example. Let us take r plus. R plus means set of reals, positive reals, even excluding 0. Now, let me take the binary operation multiplication into. So, definitely it is a binary operation because product of any two real number is a real number and it is positive means positive only. So, now 1 belongs to R plus, no doubt. Now, let us take any element here, say A into, I want to find another element here, but it should be 1 because 1 is the identity. Here 0 is the identity. Here you can see x into 1 is always x. That means this is the identity under this binary operation. So now you think A is any real number and there must be another real number which belongs to this one, such that when you operate these two, you should get 1. What is that? It is 1 upon A. And remember, therefore I have made it A R plus. You take any real number A, 1 by A also is here, and A into 1 by A is 1. For example, if I take 3, then 3 into 1 by 3, this is 1. So this is called the inverse. As before, there is no rule that inverse should exist always. For example, very simple case is this plus and n if you take, then suppose you take 5, inverse does not exist, that's one thing. And another thing is here identity also does not exist. Identity also does not exist. Therefore, there is no rule that there must be, even multiplication if you take also. The another best example is this. You take multiplication in n. So definitely 1 is the identity element of multiplication for n also. Because you take any x into 1 is x only. Definitely 1 is the identity. But if you take x for example, you cannot find another element here such that 1. What happens is, say for example you take 3 into, suppose there is an inverse for this one, you should get 1 under the multiplication. What happens? This should be 1 by 3 as here also. But 1 by 3 is not here. Therefore, given any set and operation, there need not be a condition that every time the element should have inverse, every identity operation should have identity, etc. So based on the question we have to decide. So this is the concept of inverse element. Let me now define. So definition is this: let star be a binary operation in A, then an element A with identity element, because identity element must be there in A, with identity element E, identity element T, then A belonging to A is said to be invertible if there exists B belonging to A, let us call it as B belongs to A, such that A star B must be equal to B star A, this must be equal to E. That means after the operation you should get identity element, and this B is denoted by A inverse. Please note here once again, A inverse doesn't mean 1 by A. It is the inverse of A. For example, in case of plus in Z, for 3, it is minus 3 is the inverse. It is not 1 by 3. So minus 3, this is called 3 minus 1 in our symbol. But normally in mathematics, when I write 3 inverse, this means 1 by 3 in using the ROF index form. But here in case of inverse element, you should remember that A inverse means it is inverse of the element A. So this is a thing. I have given already example, so there is no need to give more and more examples we shall consider in the supplementary lesson section. So this is the last lesson under main lessons. Now let me conclude what we have done so far. I have taken totally 9 lessons, each consisting of approximately half an hour. That means we have taken 4.5 hours to complete the concept. Now I have already uploaded 2 supplementary lessons where I have taken the important and different types of examples from exercise. I have completed, I think, relations, then we have to take functions and other things. So definitely I will be covering the whole syllabus without leaving even exercise also. My plan, as I told you already, is this. First, let me clarify the concept so that the students will have the clear understanding of concepts, formula, derivations, theories, properties, whatever it comes under one particular chapter. Once you are thorough with this, solving problems will not be a difficult thing for students. So this was my plan. This is a new way of actually presenting the content, thinking that it would be convenient for the student also, even for revision also it is convenient. Now as a tips, let me conclude this one with one small idea which you can implement in your study. The idea is this: there is a concept called concept mapping. So before telling what is concept mapping, let me tell you one thing. Imagine that you are having a study room, having a study table and then a book rack where you are keeping your notebook and textbook and other things. Suppose you are well organizing all the material, that's objects, stationaries. For example, on table you are keeping your pen, then pencil, eraser, calculator, so many other things, whatever is required for your study. So you are keeping on table, and in book rack you are keeping all the books, notebooks as well as textbook. Let us say, suppose you have a proper method of keeping these things in a well organized systematic manner. Whenever you want something, immediately you can get it. So this is very simple, common sense experience. On the other end, some students are like this. We are all human beings. Some of us are like this. We are not systematic. We throw everything. So in book rack, physics, chemistry, mathematics, all books are mixed. And the notebook is also with textbook. And in table also everything is spread. So calculator, then pen, pencil, eraser, everything. Suppose you want one particular thing, say for example, you want say physics textbook, first part. So you have to search the whole lot. So it takes a lot of time. Same thing with say you want a particular pen, but you don't get because everything is mixed up. So this is the thing. Imagine the other case where you are keeping everything systematically. Whatever you want, you can get it immediately. So this is how we work actually in our day-to-day life. The similar way our brain also works. See, sometimes it is not that we lack memory or we lack intelligence because we are not systematic. Some of us are not good in study, some of us are better. Why? Because there is a method. So here concept mapping means once you complete the chapter, any chapter, relation function, since this is the first chapter, I am just presenting before you what is the method of concept mapping. You at the end of the lesson, say now 9 lessons completed. Now you may think that okay, I have completed all the 9 lessons and now okay, I have started with relation. Sometimes even that is difficult. Relation, then we came to function, then we came to binary operation. Now it is end of it. Now imagine if you are able to make the map like this. Say this is chapter 1. So this is main. Then what are the major things we studied here? We can make a category. Say here for example, we studied only 3 important concepts. One is relation. Second one is function. And the third one is binary operation. Now, after attending all the lessons ML up to 9, from ML1 to ML9, you make a summary of what you have studied under each heading. For example, here you started with last year recap, say recap relation. So this here you write what are the things you have studied. Then types. Under this, of course, one reflexive, second symmetric, third one transitive. Then all together, this is equivalence relation. Then one more we think of equivalence class, etc. Then of course examples. So this much we studied. See, when you make this type of classification, so it is very easy to comprehend and it is very easy to recall also. Similarly here, function, once again it is the old concept. Once again we started with first year. So basic, this is recap. So whatever you have studied right here. Then types. What are major types you studied? For example, one is 1-1, another one is on-to, combining together bijective. Then we studied composite. Under composite there are properties 1, 2, 3, theorems. Then 4, invertible function. Under this there are properties, theorems. So these are the things. Binary operation, once again, there are only 5 major concepts we studied. One is definition of binary operation with example 1, 2, 3, 4. Commutative, associative, then identity, then inverse. So I am just writing in short. So this is what you have to do, because it is not to be done by somebody else and give ready made. No, you sit and do revise the entire thing, then you do this one. This is called concept mapping. Now when you have completed the first revision of the entire chapter, you do this one so that everything is fixed in your mind, so there is no confusion. Now what is the advantage of this? Suppose you keep it as a chart for one chapter, one chart, concept mapping chart. Then during revision, say after 1 month you have to write a test on this one concept, say sets relations. So you take this one, just go through this. Then you ask yourself, am I thorough with this one? Is there any clarity or confusion? So you can go to that particular minute and revise. Suppose you come to this one, okay, 1-1, what is the meaning of 1-1? How to prove 1-1? How to prove on to? So like that. So revise. See, what is the advantage is, second time when you are revising, it will take less time. First one it will take more, second less. Third one it will take still less time. So you are saving time. So there will not be any confusion also, there is no tension also. Examination preparation should